good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE Nintendo Switch and Gaming News video. Today is Splatoon 2's launch, so we definitely have some information on that as far as the lines and Switch stock and all of that, so we'll discuss that. Plus, we have Fire Emblem Warriors as far as the first gameplay that I've seen of Robin, Lissa, Lucina. Oh man, it looks amazing, so we'll talk about that. Plus, Splatoon 2, the eShop kind of crashed when people were trying to buy the game last night. Sinmar EX, so a lot of stuff to go over, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Sinmar EX will be on the Nintendo Switch later this summer. Sinmar EX was given an August 8th release date today. As for the Switch version though, THQ Nordic says it's planned for later this summer. A specific release date will be announced soon, it seems like. So remember, THQ Nordic was the same one that said that they were having issues with Battle Chasers Night War as far as getting that running smoothly on the Nintendo Switch, so maybe they're running into a little bit of issues with Sinmar EX on the Nintendo Switch as well. Obviously, with what they're doing with the Nintendo Switch, maybe they're not quite as good as Nintendo's programmers or other third-party developers that have gotten their hands on the system. In order to optimize, you need to make sure it takes a little bit more time to polish it up, or whatever the case is, so it runs smoothly. Go ahead and take that time. People will necessarily wait on Nintendo Switch if it's going to be a great game. I know I don't mind waiting if I'm going to be able to get the portability in addition to a great running game. So yeah, I'll definitely have no problem waiting for it, especially if it's good. But yeah, Sinmar EX looks like it's going to be launching later this summer. Obviously, there's a lot of different indie games and mid-sized games and big games like Nintendo's going to be putting out on the Switch. So there's going to be a lot of selection, and this is just another game really in a genre that hasn't been explored too much on the Nintendo Switch. It's like a bullet hell type shooter, kind of like Gradius, where you kind of going on a 2D plane side by side. Your plane's right here and you're shooting. So I mean, I think it could be pretty good. I played a ton of those games as a kid, and actually they were some of my favorite games. So I definitely have my eye out for this one. Alright, and moving on to the next article here. Game Explain has captured some direct feed footage of Robin, Lucina, and Lissa in Fire Emblem Warriors on the Nintendo Switch. As many of you guys know, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. Have never been too big on the Warriors games, but since Hyrule Warriors, I've really gotten into what they're doing with the characters and everything like that. That's the thing about the Warriors gameplay. I think that the standard Warriors games are not necessarily exciting because they're just so bland. They're just a bunch of dudes, you know, but when you put in a theme in there, like if you put in Gundam, which they've done, or One Piece, or you put in Zelda or Fire Emblem, then it gets much more interesting because you're seeing themes, you're seeing attacks, you're seeing characters that you can relate with and that you like, and that's exactly what's happening with Fire Emblem Warriors with me. I definitely am looking forward to this one more than I am Hyrule Warriors because Robin looks so amazing, because I know a lot of people were like, man, there's a lot of sword fighters in there, and even though the developer said, hey, we have other characters, people were still complaining about just the small selection of characters they've shown so far, but we do have some people that are not sword fighters because they did show off, well, they showed off Lucina, she's a sword fighter, but Robin and Lissa, and Lissa's axe is just massive. It's just this tiny little girl wielding this huge axe, so it just looks amazing, to be honest. And the pairing up, like how you can pair up with the other people and combat foes, it's awesome. Like, I love that bond or that buddy system that they have in there. It makes it feel a little bit more like Fire Emblem, especially Awakening, when you're seeing these cool Awakening characters kind of team up together. They also showed off Robin, which I want to talk about, and he uses his spells, and then he busts out his Levin sword every now and then. They show him fighting against the female Corrin. But overall, great stuff by Game Explain, cool direct feed footage. Really looking forward to Fire Emblem Warriors. It was my number 3 game on my list of top most anticipated, my top 5, and yeah, it was number 3 because I'm really looking forward to this one. There's going to be a ton of content in here, a lot of great characters from my favorite Fire Emblem games, and I can't wait to see what they do more with this, especially if the game's successful. I know they've talked about not doing DLC at this point, or at least it's undecided, or it's not planned right now, but man, I think this game's going to do well, and if it does, of course, maybe we get some DLC packs down the line with like Roy and with Ike and with other characters as well, because I think there's going to be a lot of people who want to play as those characters and won't mind paying for it if it's well after as far as the DLC goes. So yeah, But Robin's a tag, so that spell book, oh man, that looks good. I will agree that looks really good with the spell book and everything. And Fire Emblem Warriors launching on September 28th, I think, in Japan. They got some cool special editions and all that, and I'm not sure if it's going to be coming over here. People have been asking me about that, not sure, so we'll have to wait and see. And then there's no official release date for the US and Europe. It just says fall 2017, so we'll see about that, but hopefully there's an English option in the Japanese version of the game. I doubt there will be, but hopefully there is. And if there is an English option, you know I'm copping that this September. You know I'm getting it this September. But we'll see what happens there. All right, and moving on to the next article here. So this is something that I wasn't able to cover last night just because it was too late. I already did 4 videos yesterday. But the Nintendo Switch eShop was struggling to keep up with the demand for Splatoon 2 online purchases. At one point, there was slowdown, and then it went from slowdown to absolutely crashing. However, Nintendo was able to get it back up pretty quickly. But I do think that this game right here, Splatoon 2, it's going to get a lot of digital purchases. It's going to get a ton of digital purchases because this is the type of game that you're just going to want to have at all times. You're not going to want to forget it when you go somewhere. You're not going to want to have to say, okay, I have to switch out the cartridge. You're going to want to have it in there at all times when you play Splatoon 2, especially those hardcore users. So I can see why Splatoon 2 is the first game that I can think of that's actually crashed the eShop or made it slow down to this point at launch, because we've already had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That was pretty smooth there. I don't think there was any issues. We already had Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Obviously, everything was running good there. We've had some other games like Disgaea come out, Minecraft, and other stuff that's been good on the eShop charts. But this game right here definitely put a little bit more of a number in there. But I also think the large amounts of Japanese users as well. It wasn't just, you know, North America or anything like that. There was a ton of people worldwide, and Splatoon 2 is probably one of the most anticipated, if not the most anticipated game for many people out there because of the competitive multiplayer, because of what they've added with Salmon Run and all the stuff that they're doing with the game. There's just a lot of replay value. The improvements over the original are pretty good in my opinion. A lot of gear, a lot of great Splatoon amiibo to go along with it. So there's just a lot of stuff that people are looking forward to, and obviously the test fire did a great job in showing off what Splatoon 2 is about, and it's even looking better and plays better from what the test fire showed off, and that was in March. Can't wait to play with you guys tonight as far as the PE Arena. We're going to have Splatoon 2. A lot of you guys have been asking me how you get in on that. Make sure you check out the links in the description below. Check out the Patreon page. Details will be up on there as far as what we're going to be doing with Splatoon 2, giving out the friend codes, invites, and all of that. So yeah, just look forward to that. We're going to have Discord voice chat for Salmon Run and all of that, so it's definitely going to be a lot of fun, and I'm trying to not pull out the rest of the hair that I have in my head on how I'm going to try to get all of you guys into there as far as how we're going to rotate matches and all that, but it should be a lot of fun because I know a lot of you guys want to play tonight, so that will be cool. Now, moving on to the next article here, we do have Amazon bestsellers. Once again, I only go over these things when something crazy happens in the world of Nintendo or anything because it's usually pretty bland. You see, of course, Nintendo games sprinkled throughout PSN cards, but at $390, so well over the asking price of $299, the Nintendo Switch is the #1 best-selling item on there, beating the PSN cards, which, like I said, even like with the PS4 and its like all of its games and Xbox One and all of its games and everything, nothing ever beats the almighty PSN cards, let alone a system. No way, an actual system. But yeah, the Switch at $390, so people are literally going out there and spending $100 more to get their hands on this system. Another thing about this, we talked about the whole digital crashing the eShop and all that. I think Amazon probably had a little bit to do with that because the digital Splatoon 2 copy is #5 on there, and Splatoon 2 is #2 on there as far as the Amazon bestsellers charts. But not only that, guys, which I've said before, it's not just about having games that are system sellers right at the beginning, because Splatoon 2 is a true system seller. But once you have those games that come out and they're system sellers, it really raises the bar for all the other games because people say, okay, I'm going to pick up this, I'm going to pick up this. So it's usually a combination of things, because The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is back up to #6, I think being out of the top 20, or I know it was in the bottom half, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was also brought back up into the top 10. It's at #9. Super Mario Odyssey is getting a ton of pre-orders, so this is just awesome. It's obviously awesome to see Nintendo obviously has a hit with Splatoon 2, in addition to all the different games that they came out with. Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, that trio of games actually catapulted people to spend nearly $100 more on a Nintendo Switch, at Amazon. Although I will say this, guys, I was at Walmart and Best Buy today picking up Splatoon 2 and picking up some other supplies as well, and I saw a few Switches. I know there's been some people putting out, like Best Buy has a ton of Switches, but when I went to Best Buy right there when they opened up at 10 a.m. PT my time, like there was only a few of them in there, unless they had more in the back, which I think they probably had more in the back. But like when I was there was a nice little crowd of people, and like you had like two dudes carrying like 3 or 4 Nintendo Switches each. People were like really scrambling to buy them, and then by the time I got my copy and everything, there was 1 Nintendo Switch in the case. But like I said, they could have more in the back. When I was at Walmart, there was 3 Nintendo Switches, and I actually snapped a picture of it. I guess I'll post it at some point. But there was 3 Nintendo Switches at Walmart. But Walmart that I went to is open 24 hours, so they probably had more. People probably went at midnight to pick up Splatoon 2 and also the Nintendo Switch, because I didn't see any of the copies of Splatoon 2. They were all out of the whole rack that they have there, so they probably had that when people went at midnight to pick up that. So awesome stuff. Obviously, Splatoon 2 is having a big launch. Let me know what you guys think about all of this news in the comment section below. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. It really helps to spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page. Pledge any tier to be entered into with some awesome prizes each month. In addition to that, we have Discord voice chat for our live streams, and we have $10 prize eShop tournaments for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We'll have ARMS and, of course, Splatoon 2 going down tonight, so make sure you check that out. Support PE Live and PE Arena right here on PlayerEssence. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.